Hello, everyone. This is Luis Concepcion with Strategic Profit Line Trading coming to you with the plan of the week for week number 41. As always, here's our disclosures. This content is for educational purposes only. Past performance does not guarantee future results. All investment and trading involves risk, including the loss of principal, and all investments is not for each individual, and everybody must understand their time horizon. As always, I'm going to go ahead and cover the news, provide a market overview of the indices, and uh, short week this week with earnings. Not a lot of news, but we're ramping up for earnings seasons that's coming up, and we'll start kicking that off on Friday with the bank starting to report earnings this week. Here's our week 40 results. Provided 8 zones. We went 3-1 in option. We went 3-1. No entry was 3, and then we had one stop closing the zone on Friday. Pay attention to paycheck and stars from last week. You may be able to pull a trade out of those again this week. This is the outlook for week 41 on earnings. Again, like I said, we're going to be a quiet first couple of days, and then we'll ramp things up on Thursday and Friday. We'll be paying attention to Pepsi on Tuesday morning. Went ahead and I updated our outlook for options, and on the year, we are 108-29. Moving into the news, as you can see on Sunday, there is no news, so the open should be quiet. There is a bank holiday, so that's gonna affect the forex and futures all week for the currencies. No news on Monday. Moving on to Tuesday, again, no news throughout the day. So again, it should be a slow week. Not a lot of volatility. Waiting for the ending of the week. The New Zealand dollar will have a report after market. So for those of you trading futures and forex, pay attention to the New Zealand dollar. In the event there's something that can come into one of your zones. Moving on to Wednesday, nothing in the morning. However, midday we got the FOMC meeting. So pay attention to that as it may cause some volatility intraday. Moving on to Thursday, we have a couple of reports pre-market, so we should have some volatility at the open of the market. We got our core CPI and 2 CPI reports pre-market. And then in the evening, coming in at 11 p.m., we got the GDP on the British pound. So for those of you trading the British pound, pay attention to that. And then here where the volatility starts moving into earnings season on Friday. We got the Canadian dollar pre-market. We got core PPI pre-market as well. And then we got the majority of our banks reporting starting to report earnings on Friday. So Friday might be a little bit volatile moving into earnings season. Moving into our charts for the week, as you can see, the S&P 500, and this is the SPX. No supply in the SPX. However, you can see we keep topping around this 57, 5,800. I will not be surprised if we make it to 5,800 and then possibly have a drawback. With that being said, no supply. First demand area I have for you is 5643.14 to 5600 even. Moving on to the NASDAQ. Or the NDX. As you can see, the NDX is still weaker than the S&P 500. This level is the level that continues to hold. And it worked for us already once with a nice pullback. So that level is going to remain the same, and that's 2253 to 2592 in the NASDAQ. But supply on the demand side, I got 19,485.5 to 19,285. Let's call it, yeah, 19,285. And that's going to be your demand zone for the NASDAQ. So expect to stay in this range pretty much all week until Friday when the banks start kicking up earnings. Moving on to the Dow Jones. As you can see, the Dow Jones, just like the S&P 500, is stronger than the NASDAQ. There is no supply in the Dow Jones. First demand zone I have for you is 416.39 to 414.33. Moving on to the rut. The rut being the rut all time. Like always, this level is no longer valid as this worked for us. Gonna remove that. First supply level I have for you is 23.25 to 23.70. And the first demand zone I have, this is from one of my aggressive traders on a 60-minute chart, 21.37 to 21.17. However, on the macro picture, the demand zone I have for you is 2018 to 1956. Now, moving into earnings for the week. Let me get to week 41. So starting off with Pepsi. So with Pepsi, the first demand zone I have for you is 158.55 to 154.51. And on the supply side, 183.41 to 187.51. Understand that there is another level right above this at 190.31 to 193.59. Next company I have for you is Saratoga. So for Saratoga on the demand side, 21.14 to 2014, and on the supply side, 25.44 to 27 even. Next company I have for you is Helen of Troy. So for Helen of Troy, on the demand side, we got 49.75. Understand this level has already worked. And there's another level right below it, so be mindful of that. That level is going to be 49.75 to 39.54, and a subsequent level right below it at 35.44 to 27.65. On the supply side, we got 95.58 to 101.30. Next company I have for you is AZZ. There is no supply. All-time high was made in July at 88.67. First demand zone I have for you is 64.98 to 61.66. Moving on to Delta Airlines. As you can see, Delta Airlines had a little pop this past week and came back. On the demand side, first level I have for you is 34.45 to 32.47. And on the supply side, 56.83 to 60.11. Next company I have for you reporting earnings is Domino's Pizza. As you can see, this is the level that's been holding us. This is more of an aggressive area for those of you who are looking to go long in Domino's Pizza. That level is 414.52 to 388.94. However, there is another level right here at 378.26 to 366.51. So bear that in mind that there is a level on top of level here on Domino's. On the supply side, first level I have for you is 482.93 to 495.99. And I just saw this and I'm going to change it to 490.20 to 509.38. So both those levels are there together. Next company I have for you is Neogen, a little bit of cheaper stock for those of you who are looking to trade less capital intensive stocks. Demand level 1352 to 1288, and on the supply side 1926 to 1992. Now moving on to Friday with the banks. First company I have for you, Wells Fargo. That demand zone is going to be 45.14 to 44.41, and on the supply side 63.98 to 66.35. Next company I have is BlackRock. So BlackRock, as you can see, we're coming right into this level. Be mindful of that. I would hold off until Friday to pay attention to this. This level is 958.34 to 976.69. 976.69. If we break this level, we'll be in all-time high territory. Don't let me. This is the first level I have for you on the demand side. 794.14 to 776.69. And as you can see, as we break 800, we have several demand levels here for you. Next company I have for you is Fast. On the demand side, this is the level that's been working, 64.25 to 61.23. Mind you, this is went pretty deep into this level. There is another level here at 60.75 to 59.04 in the event of an overshoot. On the supply side, 74.66 to 77.18. Next company I have for you is BSVN. It's another bank. On the demand side, 31.25 to 29 even, and then on the supply side, 41.01 to 42.52. Last company I have for you reporting earnings is JP Morgan. JP Morgan has no supply. Its all-time high was 225.48. You can see this is the level that's been holding JP Morgan. That level is 194.86 to 188.24. In the event of an overshoot, we got another level here at 180 and one at pretty much, let's call it 175. So from 180 to 170, in the event of an overshoot on JP Morgan, we have some demand levels. That's going to do it for our charts this week. With that being said, if you're not doing so already, go ahead and follow me on social media, on Facebook, LinkedIn, and on YouTube. Go ahead and do me a favor and click that subscribe button. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to email me. And for those of you who are looking to see when I got upcoming courses or you want to join our forums, go ahead and check out the website. And until next week, happy trading, have a plan. SPL out.